And we're back. That break is mostly for editing purposes, so I know where the division is.
Okay. Man, I was gonna
welcome.
have a shower or something.
Face mask.
Welcome to the Friendlyjordies podcast. Thank you for joining us today, ladies and gentlemen.
Hello.
And I'm just going to take this opportunity to tell Cape, the labor shill, stop annoying everyone on the chat. We'll answer your question eventually.
Cape Town.
And
it's a real city.
actually, just for punishment, we're not going to answer you on this podcast. We'll do it next week.
Oh, that's neat.
On the uplay.
On the uplay. But I'm pretty sure he listens to the uplay as well.
Sign up.
But anyways, thanks for joining us. And our first segment for today is the Djokovic Saga. Do you know anything about this, Jordan?
You mean Djokovic?
Yeah, Djokovic.
I
Djokovic.
thought you were talking about a nuclear power plant for a second there.
Djokovic, whatever.
Yeah,
The world #1 tennis champ.
Yes. Yeah.
Miss, what's your... I'll give my...
Really?
Can you give Jordan a
Andre
brief
Agassi
rundown?
anymore?
Actually,
No,
Jordan...
He needs to defend his 12-time championship or something.
He
Is
lost
it
the
well,
12
game.
times?
no.
He lost the game.
No. That's
Scott-
No, isn't Andre Agassi just an old bald guy from the 80s? It's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
that was in.
Yeah, he was just angry all the time.
Scott Morrison is again... This is my opinion. Scott Morrison has again exemplified why he's a moron. Because... So Djokovic is the world #1 tennis champ. He also happens to be an anti-vax guy. His choice. And there's like a whole history of Australia versus Djokovic, because when he initially came for Australian Open, he was very pissed off about all the quarantine rules and everything, so it came into the media. But this time around, what happened was, obviously Tennis Australia and the Melbourne state government really wanted him to come because he's the #1 tennis player. So they gave him an exemption. Well, the way it worked was that certain people can get exemptions from the vaccine mandate to come into Australia. And he believed that one of the exemptions was because he's already had COVID, he doesn't need to get the vaccine. The point is he never wanted to get the vaccine. And so he comes to Australia, and Tennis Australia was like, yeah, that sounds like an exception. We'll work it out. They'll just do anything for him because he'll bring in a lot of money. And when he came to Australia, the federal government decided to cancel his visa and put him in detention.
Wait, isn't he Australian?
No, he's
No.
Serbian.
What do you...
I thought he was just, ethnically a
No,
Serb.
No, he's straight up Serbian. And so they put him in
Good. Keep him in.
hotel detention. But this news, you need to come out of your rock, because this news was everywhere in the world. Every newspaper was reporting on it, how Australia is detaining Djokovic. Anyway, so what ends up happening is he files an appeal with Australian federal court. And the federal court was like, this matter is handled ridiculously and ruled in favor of Djokovic.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
Yeah. They overturned the decision.
They overturned the
Holy
decision.
shit.
Yeah.
And now, instead of
Justice.
just backpedaling, because I understand if you don't want to invite someone based on the vaccine mandate, completely understandable. But you can't let the world #1 tennis player into the country, then put him in detention. This should have been handled even before he came to Australia. So anyways, we've just become a bit of a laughing stock for the world.
Dude, that is very...
And now the judge has ruled against Australia. An Australian judge has ruled against Australian federal government. And the government still is insisting that we're still looking if we want to cancel his visa or not. Just the worst
many
kind of
gaps.
publicity that
Right,
you
you're
could get.
very outraged by this.
I think it's very poorly handled, and I'm not the only one. Like the last immigration minister has also voiced how this was badly handled. A lot of immigration officials have... No, not Dutton. The Labour immigration minister said something like that. Then there's a lot of people within the Australian bureaucracy that have been talking about how ridiculous this was handled. This eventually just became a cock measuring contest between Djokovic and Scott Morrison. Scott Morrison was insisting his was bigger. And the judge said, no, Djokovic is bigger.
What is it with Australian Liberal politicians getting in beefs with global celebrities?
Why? Why are you doing this?
That's the start.
There's no, just don't let, just, you shouldn't have, you should have just said, like, sorry, if you can't be in Australian Open if you are not going to get a vaccine. You should have. This is a communication breakdown between Tennis Australia and the government, which shouldn't have happened because it's a really high-profile event. Every newspaper in the world was reporting on this. It became like and because Australia has a bad reputation amongst the anti-vaxxers and everything, they've just made this into another point of how Australia's gone crazy.
I don't get why we have a bad rep amongst anti-vaxxers. Why are they all saying that we're a police state?
Because of our...
Here we go, half the audience. Because we are a police state.
Well, but the half would be in agreement with you. It's like, trust me, you'll find fans on both sides of this argument.
Yes, you will.
So it's because of our lockdown measures. Apparently, it was too drastic for a lot of the world.
Do you think, too, that we can recover from this international embarrassment?
You think this is a joke? This Djokovic stuff is an international embarrassment.
Hey, the
Sorry.
experts.
Hang on. Let us speak. Let us speak her piece.
No, well, I think that everyone is actually laughing at us at this moment in time. And I don't think well, I guess eventually...
Doesn't everyone hate Djokovic?
No, Australia hates Djokovic. Everyone thinks of him as the number one tennis player in the world.
Really?
Well, what happened?
No. When you say Australia, you're talking about Scott Morrison.
Yeah, I'm talking about... Because we've had a beef with him. This is exactly the same as the Johnny Depp saga.
Yeah.
You're picking a fight with a global superstar, so you better have good grounds. You can't have flimsy grounds.
The reason why he started picking that fight was initially when Djokovic put on Twitter that he got an exemption to come to Australia and then went on a flight straight away to land here. Everyone here started going on Twitter and started just saying like, oh my God, he got an exemption. Like all these stars and stuff are getting special treatment. And then because the public got angry, ScoMo was like, no, we're not. So we're going to cancel your visa.
So it was political pressure.
Yeah, it was political pressure.
Jesus. Politicians, I know this is a weird thing to say, but politicians should not be faced by political pressure all the time. Because that makes a lot more sense.
What did you think it was?
Well, I thought he just came here and there was a complete breakdown between Tennis Australia and the government. But that makes sense. They would have allowed him to come in before because he's Djokovic. And then a few people on Twitter were like, this isn't right because he has a bad reputation.
Yeah, it
and the
blew up
government
on Twitter.
decided that there's an election coming up, so they cancelled his visa. And
there's a bigger question at play here, though, which is, why is there so much money in tennis? Who's watching it?
well,
I'm assuming... Yeah, grandmas, like Mislav.
And my grandma too.
Yeah,
But
see?
no,
Grandmas
grandma
like it.
yeah, a lot of people watch tennis.
And my dad.
But they're
a lot of
oldies
immigrants.
with like old little like blue rinse wigs,
No,
right?
because those are the people you see at the tennis courts because
they got the money.
they've got the money because tennis court has limited seating.
It's massively popular.
So only really
so
rich.
popular.
It's kind of like the
It's so big.
Roman thing. What was that?
Roman thing.
Gladiators?
The gladiator. Where's they fight? The massive stadium, the
Colosseum.
Coliseum.
It's-
Hobos went and saw it. It was like watching rugby league.
No, actually, they didn't. Sorry, separate point. I saw a documentary on how you could get tickets. It's called Tourist Time Travel YouTube channel, where this guy tells you if you had a time machine, how to
Internet
go.
is getting niche.
Time for my
Talk
favorite.
about a long tail. Now we're aiming content at people with access to a time machine. So it's Stephen Hawking and he's dead. That's it.
Say it. My favorite word. It's so appropriate.
Esoteric.
Shots. If that's not that,
Hey, can we get...
isn't it
can
Vapid?
we,
I hear you
Ali,
say
I should be
Vapid a
talking
lot.
to you
Do
about
I?
this, seeing as
Fuck.
you're the
Probably.
official merch guy of the Friendly Genies Enterprise. Can we get a shirt that has in the same running writing as Eternity, whatever that homeless guy was that wrote that? Can we get that as a black shirt with esoteric on it, and then Mislav's face translucently below it, kind of in space, being like...
No, can it be like Jackie Chan's face? Mislav on Jackie Chan's face doing that meme.
God. Dude, you just reminded me of something insane. Have you heard... You know Jackie Chan is
He's
a
still
singer?
alive.
No.
Okay, well, sign up late for the Patreon because we will be opening our Up Late episode with the greatest song I've ever heard, an original by Jackie Chan.
Are you sure you're not just mistaking it for kung fu fighting?
I swear I'm not.
Yeah,
That could be the case, but I'm 95% sure it's not. Wait
Hey,
for it.
two.
And yes, can we
Seeing
make
as
that
you're an
merch?
actor,
Can we make that?
What do you think about Jackie Chan's acting skills?
Look, every time I watch him, I smile. I don't know why. Okay, so that's good enough for me. Like
Because he sounds like Asian Kermit the Frog.
Well,
like
he's
his voice. Is
Yeah,
like
don't you
this?
think? Thank you very much.
Ray Romano.
Yes, okay, that's what he is. Oriental Ray Romano.
speaking of the
Sorry.
microphone, miss. It's been 5 years.
Instead of
Ray
everybody loves
Romano.
Ray, but it's everybody loves Ray.
I'm not even saying Panthera. It's your funny joke. Yeah, he's a classic. And also, come on,
Yeah.
Drunken Master? Drunken... Anyone?
I think I've seen it.
What, drunken kung fu boxing?
No, he's got three. He's got a movie called Drunken Master that he made in the 80s. There's like 2 or 3 of them. They're pinnacle of kung fu films. Twitch, help me out here. I'm not lying.
The thing is, actually, dude, can he act though?
Not
Has he ever
really.
been in some biopic as Margaret Thatcher's husband?
Have you guys seen his? Have you guys seen The Foreigner?
Of course, it's called The Foreigner. No.
Foreigner was so Jackie Chan is actually very pissed off about the fact that he's like, every time you give me role, it's all kung fu. I want to do it. I want to get Oscar.
Really?
Yeah.
He's got Will Smith complex.
Yeah, he's like, I want Oscar. I want to be Robert De Niro. Why am I Jackie Chan always kung fu?
Rush Hour is-
Because you're Jackie Chan. It's self-explanatory. What is he? Is he
love it.
honestly expecting to get all of these like power?
He really is. This. I'm not just
Should be in
making
a
this
beautiful
up.
mind.
He is constantly talking about how he's not given enough credit, and he wants an Oscar. And so he came out with
I
this.
love him. He deserves one. I love Jackie Chan.
You guys have to see
Less
Foreigner.
deserving people have gotten it.
Foreigner is basically like Taken, but with Jackie Chan as Liam Neeson.
Sick.
So that's more kung fu.
Yeah, well, look, no one's gonna give Jackie Chan Robert De Niro's roles. He needs to figure that out. But this was a good mix. There was some acting chops in there too.
Wait, is it a Hollywood one? Or
It's a Hollywood movie. And so my analysis on it was, the movie was okay. His acting, also okay. If he were, I think he can win an Oscar, provided he gets the right script.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. I love him. Big fan over here. Big
Yeah, but just because
He
you're a
can't be as good
nice
as, like-
guy doesn't mean you deserve an Oscar.
Have you
It's
seen
kinda
Rush
being
Hour?
and the next winner of the Oscar is Ryan Seacrest. I just like to let everyone know I've never starred in a movie.
Dude, that's what the Oscars have become. Man. Come on.
They have, haven't
Pretty
they?
much have.
Yeah, the guy from Squid Game, the old guy from Squid Game,
won an
he
Oscar.
won the Golden Globe.
Dude, he was good.
If
though.
he can win it, Jackie Chan can too.
Him dubbed in English was very good.
Anyway, what was? Can you look? We've got to get some views too. What was your opinion on Djokovic? Djokovic.
Oh, mine, Djokovic. Oh, dude, I'm totally torn. It's like pros and cons. It's like can't tally it up. It's like pro. He he should be. He's had it. He doesn't. If you're not vaccinated and you've had it, you're not any less. From what I know, you don't spread it any worse. He should have been allowed in. Negative. He's Serbian. Pro. Pro. It was sort of like a massive baff, I think, on behalf of the government, which for me is kind of almost a pro. 'Cause it's like, fuck him, let him fuck up, Negative. We look like idiots on the global stage. So it's just like, it's hard to weigh up.
So the whole point of
I actually do like. I mean, he's an amazing.
the whole point of not letting people that are not vaccinated into the country
is the point?
was because they would spread COVID.
But that doesn't.
But when there's 60,000 cases every day in New South Wales, 50,000 in Victoria, is that rule really that relevant anymore?
But also, being vaccinated prevent you from spreading it more?
Well, I don't know. Well,
Apparently.
clearly not.
Apparently
because
it does.
Apparently.
That's what they're saying.
Well,
well,
can someone? Okay, I don't know about this, but can someone explain to me if that's the case? And New South Wales is 95% vaccinated. How the hell are there 50,000 cases?
Omicron is way more.
So then it doesn't matter if he's vaccinated or not.
That's kind of what I thought. And there's going to be so many.
Is it worth all the headlines?
Probably not. I think.
I guess it is.
Yeah.
I guess it just boiled down to that political pressure that you were talking about.
It's
I don't know
ridiculous.
why.
But also, like, who the fuck? Djokovic isn't, like, going to the Queen Victoria markets. He'll be in his fucking hotel.
Well, even if he is, everyone at Queen Victoria Market already has COVID.
Yeah. I think it's. Look, final verdict. very silly.
It's trying to do.
The whole thing, mind you.
Oh, man, I really wish you had an opinion column on news.com.
No, come on. Sydney Morning Herald. It's been like,
Yeah.
please.
That extra smug turn, looking like one of the characters in Cluedo. Did I do it? You've never done anything with your life.
It's really funny having Jordan mixed up with all these media types and journalists. It's funny because when I was younger, I'd look at the Sydney Morning Herald and be like, ooh, Italic, they're smarter than me. They're so much smarter than me. They know, I'll take every word as gospel. And then I used to see the photos. I'm like, they've just achieved so much. And then because of this guy right here, now I open the fucking newspaper and it's like the funny pages. I'm like, fucking idiots. And it's economics. Just throwing it in the bin and shit.
That is something that I'm very proud of.
You shouldn't be, because that usually entails going to alternate sources. This man ain't going nowhere.
What do you mean? That's not true.
Helen Dalton's Facebook page.
Always on that. What other news do I? I don't really watch the news anymore. That's about it.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Anyway,
Miss, do you want to actually go ahead with the thing that you wanted to talk about? The Mislav's Musings. You saw a movie recently that you wanted to comment on?
We have to do this.
The big event of 2022.
The big event of whatever the fuck year this is. I've been trying to see it for so long. Everyone's got COVID, throwing excuses at me left, right, and center. I've tried. I tried to see it with my mate from year 6, who was the only person that I could see it with when I was that age. All these old friends. It's fallen through. So I did it last night with my brother. The Matrix, whatever, Resurrections. Tell me what you think in Twitch. Like, this is all I'll say.
This is such a build-up for a movie review. It's a movie review.
It's more than that for me. But all I'm going to say is, not to get super depressing, but this movie is like what happens to people in their 30s. It's called The Matrix. Your teens, The Matrix Reloaded, third one, your 20s. This is your 30s, and that's what the movie was. Depressing. Like, it was a fucking bad dream. It was a nightmare. I think I just was in a nightmare last night. I don't think it couldn't have been reality,
I thought the same thing, but the whole time I was thinking, if this is a nightmare, shouldn't I feel any other emotion than boredom?
Yeah, it was so boring. But I mean, like, I swear to God, the only thing in it that I enjoyed was like seeing Trinity and Neo together looking older. Because I'm like, that's nice. I remember the first movie. Everything else, just absolute travesty. Like Jordan was saying, the meta stuff was like interesting. I would argue if you have a shit film with shit ideas, you do meta stuff because it makes you look witty and it's self-reflective and that's still shit.
No, yeah, but it's a better alternative to having a bunch of friendly robots that you could tell were friendly because the lights in their eyes were blue and the sound effects were just like immediately from one of those soundboards that you pranked kids with in year 9.
Yeah, but I'm not buying this thing of like, it's an ironic movie. It was supposed to be bad. It's self-reflective. It's like, no, it's still bad.
No one
is anyone saying that?
Lots of people. Yes, they are. Have you watched a lot of YouTube reviews?
Well, I haven't.
Are they saying it's genius?
A lot of people are saying it's very polarizing. A lot of people are saying it's bad intentionally, and that was the point of it.
Well,
I honestly think what they
you to Warner Brothers
exactly.
or not? Like, what was? Because I tried reading up on it.
20 minutes of it was, and then I think everybody tuned out because it just became hard to follow. And then the only question after that was, why is Barney from How I Met Your Mother in this? And why is he the architect?
Nothing makes sense.
Why did you... Spoiler alert, by the way.
Yeah, spoiler alert.
Look, if you're going to the Matrix, like, we're saving you money here.
All right, let's hear from someone that's a professional in the field. Let's hear your expert opinion.
These two have seen it as well. Ali hasn't.
Well...
So he can't really have a take.
Yeah, but how much can we say?
I'll just say this. I think that if they made The Matrix just completely self-aware and that it was just paying out Warner Brothers, and they turned it into an entire season sitcom with a laugh track.
Would have been a bit better.
That'd be great.
It would have great's a fucking strong word. It would have been better. A
Yeah.
little bit better.
Yeah.
Also would have put the first movie to absolute.
Would have made the cast would have made more sense.
Everything would have made more sense, but
Even the robots would make more sense.
yes, but it still should have been. It should have been a mini series on fucking HBO. It had nothing to do with The Matrix. It should have been The Matrix. It looked like it was made for TV. The fucking animation was worse. 20 years later and it's fucking devolved?
Yeah,
How?
that's true.
If they started a Patreon to say chip in, we've only got 200 million, I would have chipped in. I'd have been like, yeah,
Even
I'll help
after
you out.
watching Matrix Reloaded and
I
Revolution,
didn't mind Reloaded that bad.
what about
yeah.
Revolution?
I'm still in there. Yeah, I still would have helped you out. It's just there's anyway,
Wait,
go on. Tell me what you think.
Do you think that the fight scenes were
Terrible.
They were terrible.
They
like
were
I remember
so
watching
bad.
The Matrix. I can't really remember too much of it. But watching it, I was like, whoa, like he's flying and like all that sort of stuff. It was incredible.
Yeah, the first
but this
one,
one
yeah.
is just, I don't know, punches. And
But
that's about it. Like nothing else.
They cut away
happened.
before there's any punch. They cut before there's a punch. I mean, it is a fan fiction movie of a loser nerd making some weird fan fiction about the Matrix. It was mind-bogglingly, depressingly bad.
At the end of the day, I thought it was
To me.
just a romance movie. Like
Yeah,
it wasn't. It didn't really have, I guess, the depth that the original Matrix had.
How annoying were the characters, Chad?
And they all looked
What?
very tired. They just
Oh,
looked tired.
so
They didn't look.
bad.
They didn't look like they wanted to be there.
But don't you think this is the great thing about The Matrix 4? It is just a metaphor for Hollywood now. Hollywood is just tired.
But the Matrix deserves more.
Well,
than
they've
that.
had a fucking 2-year break.
Who?
The Hollywood, rejuvenate, come back.
No, but this is
No,
the
no,
whole
this-
thing.
this
This is
would've been
all they
made.
have is, you remember The Matrix, right? Yes. You're going to come see it, yeah? All right.
Well, when was the Matrix? It would have been made.
No, I'm
during
talking about like the
COVID.
Hollywood break of the COVID. But the first Matrix, which in my opinion, I don't want to watch this one because I didn't even like second and third.
Fair.
Matrix 1 came out in 1997 and it is legitimately one of the best movies ever
99.
made.
Wasn't it 99?
99, yeah, I think you're right. 99.
But here's an alternative, right? Rack with me here, Jordan, for 1 second. I know this is crazy. How about you got $200 million? You know, the Warner Brothers. How about this? How about you spend a little bit longer in the writing room? How about you hire some writers that aren't shit? Either fuck off the old directors if they're not capable, hire someone that can direct, spend a little bit more time on it, and try to write something that is new and interesting and good. It wouldn't be that that universe is incredible. It wouldn't be that hard. Take a story from the Animatrix and make that a fucking movie. There was so many fucking options here to do something incredible.
You heard it here, folks.
It's just an absolute
here's the big
cop
question.
out. It's a cop out.
Scorsese is
Maybe-
taking notes, miss. Don't worry.
Fuck, Scorsese's doing Matrix 5.
I don't think there's a Matrix
Yo!
5 coming out anymore.
Huh?
I don't think there's going to be a Matrix 5. This movie
Yeah, I
was
think
unanimously
I think
panned.
wasn't that the whole
No, it
mission
wasn't.
here?
It wasn't.
What?
It wasn't unanimously panned.
Because, dude, you are like
What,
in very
because
niche...
One fat nerd liked it on YouTube.
No, it
On
was like-
YouTube.
It got like
Living in
70.
Arkansas.
It got 70% on Rotten Tomatoes.
That's still good,
70.
though.
Yeah, but that's not what it deserves.
That's not what it deserves.
But it's Matrix.
10% is too much for that movie.
Well,
Yeah.
all right.
I get 0
But
out of 10.
here's the big question. Can anyone, in a couple of sentences, sum up to me what was the point of that film?
So you're in agreement, really.
Okay, what do you think about
Like,
this?
and I'm not even talking about, like, why make it? I'm just like, seriously, what is that movie about? I don't know.
You didn't answer me. You've seen Dune. That's an adaptation. Like, there are people that can write well in Hollywood. Why didn't they do that?
Because she refused to let anyone else touch it because it's her baby.
It's lack of
Great.
diversity.
Well, good on you. You've destroyed
sister-
the franchise.
Well, I think her sister who wrote,
She didn't do it.
co-wrote,
Yeah, she just
yeah, the
not-
first
yeah.
3 or something.
Yeah.
Didn't get
But,
involved
like-
with this one.
None of us are going to... Anyways,
It's so...
nothing. Let's move on. We're not going to talk about any of that.
It's so bad.
No, we're not
Where does
going
the
to.
200 million go?
I don't know.
Because they basically just had the same green screen that snarky teenagers have on TikTok going,
Ollie, you don't
So-
understand how bad it was. You
No, I'm getting a fair idea.
I can't even think about it. It's freaking me out. What do you guys
I
think?
honestly really would have liked Matrix the sitcom. And now that I want to kind of suggest that to a TV studio because I think that would be legitimately hilarious.
It would be a lot better if they just made
And
it
also,
a complete joke.
You know what
It
else
was
I was saying?
basically a joke.
It was a joke, but also I was saying to you, you know how there is... It came out on Boxing Day.
Yeah.
You know how there is that joke in The Simpsons where there's that poster that says, coming soon, a very Matrixy Christmas. And it's Neo with that. It should have been that.
That's
and
what
that
it
would have
was.
been a better title.
Yeah, but that's what it basically was. That's the guy from How I Met Your Mother. The guy who's just like, let's suit up. Like, what? And the actors...
Yeah.
I know why
That's
he's
a
in that
grand
movie,
designer.
but I can't talk about it.
Dude, that's not...
And also, this is
I think
the
that's
most
the
annoying
reason
thing.
he's in that movie.
Those annoying journalist glasses that people have. Couldn't be any more annoying than that. No, they're blue. They're blue.
And how about this?
They were blue for a reason.
Why?
Why? A blue pill.
Blue pill.
How about this, though?
It was like a symbol.
Damn, two's cluey. She understands all this
didn't
like
get it?
underlying messages.
Like,
Dude, every time, like after when The Godfather 2 finished, she was just like, "Well, all those bridges burned, and he's at the top, and for what?" I was like, "That's what you got from the movie." And and she said, "What did you get from The Godfather 2?" And my response was, "I thought he was just pissed off." I have no film disseminating skills at all. I can't play Connect 4. I can't connect the dots. I can't do it.
Dude, you are.
I can't
he
connect
is
four.
very bad at that game.
Oh, he's so bad at the game.
Because I first played, he actually taught me the game because I didn't even know about the game. And I remember like beating him like 5 times in a row and thinking, oh, maybe I'm really good at this game. To figure out, no, I'm just straight up average. Jordan is bad.
Yeah, I mean, like, I've got 3 red dots, just one on top of each other. And I'm like, come on, you can see this, right? Like, if I put the 4th one on, you lose. And then he's like, And I'm like,
It reminds me of when I played chess with someone that had brain damage. That's me. And every time I was
Did
just
you
like,
lose?
you win again, Vince. He's like, yay.
Panthera.
What are you
Well,
talking
it
about?
just was a moment of my life. I was being generous.
Vince is great.
I wasn't sitting there to it being like, I win again. Suck shit. Let's
Ali,
play.
Vince is going to be the
While
replacement if I die.
While we're talking about Panthera, this is a genuine question. I know this might be bad, but genuinely a question. I read this article today where a lot of deaf people were complaining how those the sign language people aren't there for most of the government press conferences, and that's keeping a lot of people in dark of what's happening with COVID.
You used to have it for cheap TV.
You be quiet. This is
No
a question.
comment, no
This is a
comment.
question for Tu and Mislav exclusively. Why can't they read the subtitles? Like every YouTube video now has them.
Yeah, they agreed. Why can't they read the subtitles? I don't know.
Why are they in the dark?
I don't know.
Anyways, can someone tell me? Maybe I'm missing something here, but
Because someone has to get paid. The hand person's got to get paid, mate. Big government. That's why, mate.
well, maybe some people just prefer to see. Because, I mean, Jordan hates it when there are subtitles.
So
down the
deaf
bottom.
people hate
you
subtitles
like-
as well.
No.
They're really
I'm
clutching
not
at
saying,
straws at that point.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that there are people have preferences. I'm not generalizing anything. Oh my God, stop this!
Bombshell.
two.
Two's short-lived career in Hollywood.
And her acting career was over before it began.
Also, finished
welcome to the world. Right, you thought it was a good idea to come on here to promote your movie. You forgot what podcast this is, man. And this is the other thing as well. This is what you
You
need to
should
learn.
not be on this podcast. Just as a general advice.
Podcast full stop.
This is
just
Come
stick
Town
to
2.
FM radios. Go to Newcastle, bloody NX 105. All right.
Yeah, dude, this is Come Town 2.
All right, so
Not good for my image.
Sloppy
Sorry.
seconds.
I'm sure I'm gonna get it. I'm sure I'm gonna get it at some point. I'm gonna get a reply by someone telling me why that's the case.
But two, now that we've let the cat out of the bag,
Yeah.
you want to feed that?
Sorry?
You want to feed that cat?
Oh, yeah. Okay, well, I actually was going to wait for another 2 weeks for when the movie is actually out. But now that,
No, let's do it.
now I'll just do it right now. But yeah, I appear in this action spy parody movie coming up, and the director actually made it during COVID because he wanted a story that was just fun and wanted people to laugh because it was like dark times and everything. So I think that everyone should go watch it because it will just be a hoot.
There's a trailer out, right?
What's it called?
Have you been thinking about that speech?
No, actually, not at all. I think that's why it came out really badly.
What's the film called?
The Spy Who Never Dies.
And the trailer is available on YouTube to watch?
Yeah, it is.
Sick.
Yep.
Check it out, folks.
Shout out.
And
Spy.
True's character is, what was the description again? Sexy K-pop Asian star. No, sexy K-pop Asian assassin.
Fuck yeah, that's my kind of movie. It'll be fucking fuck the Matrix.
It's an Australian movie, so support local content and
I'll tell you what,
actors.
from the trailer, you can tell
I'm keen. I'm very keen.
The Matrix could have been made better for 1/200th of its budget. That's possible. Because what was the budget for yours? Do you know?
I don't know what the budget was.
But
Yeah,
I
we
think
know
it was
what.
like,
I mean, not 200 million.
it wasn't 200
Definitely
million.
not 200 million
Yeah,
for an
definitely.
Australian
100
film.
million. 100.
100, yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah,
James
yeah.
Packer's making it.
No, that's sick. I'm excited.
That is
Check it out.
awesome.
I'm keen. I'm very keen.
Yeah, so everyone check the trailer out and watch the movie when it comes out. It comes out in Feb.
Yeah, it comes out in February, though only in selected cinemas, I think. I'm not really sure which one.
Well, you can select which cinema you want to watch it at.
Yeah,
It's
but
very
yeah, thank
selective.
you. And I'm sorry for spamming everyone with this, but I'll probably be
No.
doing it for the next 2 weeks.
Kate the labor shill is spamming people. You are not spamming.
But I asked Jordan to help me, and he was just like, "No, I'm not going to do it." So I was like, "Fine, I'm just going to
You're on
crash
here,
your."
ain't you? You know what she wanted? This is her idea of helping her. I have to memorize
No,
an entire
that-
show in a month, right?
I
Her
didn't
response
mean it
was,
like
how
that."
about you G up and start pulling out full content like what you do throughout the year in off-rating season as well, so that you can put it, so that she can just come on at the end and then just sidle up by the screen and just go, also, I'm in a movie. Check it out. Can you deny it?
Hey,
And she
dude.
flicked me off as well. That's the
you gotta
gratitude
do it.
you get for coming on one of the biggest podcasts in the country. Thank you.
That's that you got. It's that hustle, baby. You gotta
It's
do
the
that
hustle.
I got to hustle.
Miss, if
Yeah.
it
But
was-
this is her hustle. Hustle usually means wheeling and dealing. Her hustling is giving me the silent treatment and then flicking me off after she just plugged her video show free.
Classic. It is a classic move. Though.
Yeah.
could have been worse.
Yeah, it is a classic. I'll give you that.
It could have been one.
It's an oldie but a goodie.
It could have been one of those.
Yeah, well, what's that got to do with anything?
What if
But
she-
they would have
well,
been more
if
subtle,
she-
and so
Yeah.
she was being more overt about
What-
it,
what if
more
she-
honest with her emotions.
More passive aggressive. You should be happy your girlfriend is straight up. If she wants to say fuck you, she says fuck
To
you.
just let me give you some lessons for when you go to Hollywood. This isn't how you make it.
The producers would love it.
Bradley Cooper's just like, I like her style.
You know what? I actually
Let's
wouldn't
book her for
be
Kimmel.
surprised. People would just be like, very authentic. That is her.
They would. They would. I reckon they would. Maybe.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me at all.
Yeah, me neither.
I'm just sick of the fakery, you know?
All right, second segment. Is that okay? If you guys, there's this new TikTok trend where people are saying, and I'm sorry if you're not from Sydney and you don't get this, but people in Sydney, there's a Gen Z TikTok trend where they're saying, why the hell does McDonald Town Station exist? Have you guys heard about this?
Oh, thank God. Someone's asking the pertinent questions of our
That is
times.
a big.
Well,
That is a very true. Question.
pedestrian. No, not pedestrian.
Okay.
Uh,
Junkie, better.
junkie.
Yes, there we are.
Did a
Journalism. That's that kind of journalism.
a deep
right?
dive into why McDonald Town exists, and it's
A
actually
deep dive.
well, I don't know how deep they had to go, but it's actually a really cool story. So McDonald Town used to around like early
I know
colonial
what it
days in
was.
Australia.
I bet it was just a farm, and the guy's last name was McDonald. Right?
No.
Was it to
So-
open up their rival to... Because it was on the same train line as Newtown, which was the performing arts school, but there was McDonald Town Performing Arts.
Oh, there's that McDonald Town College.
Yeah, McDonald Town College or
I don't
something.
think that was in McDonald Town though.
Yeah, because McDonald Town doesn't exist.
It's
so
not a real thing.
Well, that's what I'm. Okay, so check this out.
Let's just keep throwing darts at the board.
Let us see if we can guess it first.
What's the dark history?
Yeah, okay, so McDonald Town, around like somewhere around maybe 60, 70 years ago, a few people found remains near the McDonald Town train station of little children buried into the ground. So they reported it to the police. The police came and they found several infant bodies near the train station. So this is what happened. Early colonial days, there was a couple that lived in McDonald Town. By the way, at that point, Erskineville wasn't a thing. That entire place was McDonald Town.
Mislav was right. It was just a farm.
No, it wasn't a farm. It was a suburb.
Right.
But this family, what they would do was they used to, for money, they would get, if you, let's say you had an illegitimate child, and back in the day, because it was such a stigma, you had to get rid of it. So this was a couple that was running an orphanage where for money they would take your illegitimate child. But what they would do is they would kill the babies and bury them.
Why?
And they used, because who would take care of all these babies?
Born in sin. Silly
Not only
question.
they were born in sin, the amount of money you would have to spend to keep them, they just wanted the money from the people that were giving off these babies. So they would kill them by taking a needle and stabbing the baby's heart.
What?
They found a lot more bodies, and this became a well-known thing. And McDonald Town's reputation became the place of baby killers. And so then they created a new suburb called Erskineville. The mayor of McDonald Town felt that if they renamed the suburb, they could increase the property prices because by then
And fast forward to 2020.
it's still there.
He's right.
Wait, what was it called previously?
Well, it was called McDonald Town,
okay.
and now part of it became Erskineville.
That's fascinating.
And they wanted to name McDonald Town North Erskineville, but
Right.
that ended up never happening for some reason.
So why'd they keep the train station?
Well, because the train station already existed.
Dude, that is a
Just
fucking
change the name.
crazy cool story. That's
Right?
That's actually
Well-
some old school colonial
That is
shit.
really dark.
So it's
Yeah.
a murder train. It's a murder suburb.
It's
There's
a murder suburb.
Babies. Well, I'll never think about it the same.
And then that same couple, by the way, moved to Chippendale, but for some reason Chippendale never had that reputation. They also kill babies in Chippendale.
Dude, they should. They should.
Did they go to jail or they just
Yeah,
live a
so
long, happy life?
so the husband was given the death sentence because back in Australia you could.
Hanging?
I'm guessing, yeah, probably hanging. And the wife was given life imprisonment in Bathurst prison or something.
Shit.
Why'd she get off the hook?
Woman,
That's not really off
bitches,
the hook.
bitches. I tell you, they always get it easy.
Is that all it was?
I think so.
I
Yeah.
don't know. Holy shit.
No, that legitimately that could have been the reason.
Dude, I'm like, they should have leaned into it and called it Murder Town and gotten people to take
McMurdertown.
McMurder Town.
Town, USA.
Like, yeah, they should have leaned into it. That's big money. Like, fuck that. Because McDonald Town's a better name for a suburb than Erskineville anyway. I'm gonna fucking bullshit.
Well,
But is it better
where
than
were
Murder
the
Town?
Were the
Oh,
babies
either.
found in a specific...
near the train
house
station,
or
apparently.
just-
The Needle.
Yeah, it was a house.
like
It was a
It was a house, but they found some babies
Why is it better
near the
way?
train station.
There's a better way.
But yeah, they used to bury him, I think, in their
Close over the
backyard,
head.
which later became something else.
So if you have a house in Erskineville, is
In
there still buried
McDonald
babies under
Town.
there?
McDonald Town.
McDonald Town.
Which is
Yeah, but-
basically Newtown.
Yeah.
Well, it explains a lot about the people that live there.
I was going to say,
It's the same as living in an Indian burial
Let's
ground.
continue the trend with people from Newtown.
Yeah. You know, we drove past there the other day, and this old witch.
Oh
Mislav-
my god.
You were driving. You tell a story,
Unbelievable. This is
and
a
then
great
you add your
story.
2 cents to it.
This is a fucking great story. Good thinking. This is how much is this a metaphor for like people from Newtown? We were driving. Me and Jordan were driving. I can't remember. Oh yeah, going to get lunch. We work hard here at Friendlyjordies.
Yeah, you know. Sorry. It was a working day where Mislav was paid a full worker's wage to escort me to a place that he went to that has Philly cheesesteaks that he ate at that were, quote, pretty mad. And I went there and I can assure you that they are pretty mad.
Yeah. He had to be done. Had to be done.
Someone has to do it.
We do the hard lifting for you.
Hey, let's be honest. This was one of the harder days for Mislav.
I got out of bed. Anyway, but we're driving on the way. How good's this? There was a young mum with her children crossing. It was super windy and busy, in a city suburb. Oh, it's so busy. Oh, I'm on the run. Should I get Gomez or the one that starts with Z? Oh, who knows? That kind of shit. On their fucking way.
By the way, Mislav, that's just you.
No, that's a lot of the universe.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So they're crossing the crossing and busy, whatever. 3 kids and one of the kids' hat flies off as we're about to go past. The lights are green, and then there's that weird thing where and the mum was like, "No," and I was just like, I just put it in park, put the fucking handbrake on. Sorry, put it in park, put the handbrake on, and was like, "Just go, it's fine. The cars behind me can wait. I'm not gonna run over you kids. Fine." She was like, "Oh, okay," and then the kid was just like, "Yeah," grabbed a hat and was just like, "Thank you," and I was just like, "Yeah, it's all good." Put it back in the drive. Forgot about the cars can wait. They're annoyed at me. I don't care. I don't want to kill the kid. I'll be one of those people that's a dick. It's like, I need to get home 30 seconds faster. And then the light was nearly off green, but then there was a person just gonna walk. I'm like, I'm in the middle of the road. I'm like, I'm just gonna go. You can see me. There's no one here. I'm fucking going. So I'm like, start moving. And then I hear a fucking boosh, on the fucking car. And I was like, what the fuck? As we're moving away. Keep driving because I don't want to cause an accident. Turn around and there's a 70-year-old overweight woman with blue hair walking angrily, stiffly looking ahead, crossing the road, who just fucking smacked my car. Because she was like, you have to wait for me to cross. It was yellow. Unbeknownst to her, not seeing the whole situation that just happened about me, us letting this kid go by and this family, and she was just like, no, it didn't. It affected me slightly, and all I care about is my own reality. So she was just smacked my car. How much is that a perfect metaphor for Newtown?
2, don't you think? Just weigh in on this. Perfect metaphor for Newtown, and if Mislav killed the kid, perfect metaphor for McDonald Town.
I went for the Newtown style, not McDonald Town.
Did you say anything
Well,
to
that's
her?
your style,
Yeah,
Did you defend your position?
Oh, believe me, if I hadn't been so shocked and appalled, I would have given her the finger and been like, fuck you, you old bag. But I was just shocked. So I'm like, what? And then Jordan was like, oh, she didn't see all that. And she was, believe me, I would have given her a piece of my mind.
No, but I would have expected that would have affected you for the rest of the day.
No.
Right?
What do you mean? Because I was pissed off.
Well, I don't know. I just feel like anytime anyone's rude
Not
to
him.
you,
Not him.
you're just kind of so rude.
I was just pissed
It
off.
would have affected our days and even Jordan's day. In fact, it would appear in the next Friendlyjordies video.
Please.
With
Yes.
oh,
But if it happened-
blue-haired bags need to fuck
I
off.
was like,
But if it
fuck
happened
her.
anywhere else, if that happened in Cronulla, I'd think, what a legend. March onto your house that I assume has an oversized Australian flag in the front yard, right? It would only piss me off if it happened in that exact suburb, which is why it did. Also, the fact that she didn't even have the courtesy to turn her head and yell profanities at us. I mean, as we've just learned from a few moments ago, even 2 is more polite than that. She actually turns and flicks off the person you're talking to, but this person just smacked it and walked on.
It was stoically walking.
That was what
she didn't even
creeped
look
me out
down.
about
She
it.
didn't even look down. She was just like, I'm going,
Yes.
I'm going to T2 because normal peppermint tea is not good enough for me. Fucking bitch. It's so annoying. It's just that, and just that, it's the classic thing of just I'm just looking in my lane. There's nothing altruistic about me. I don't look even a little bit out of something that is out of my thin lane of beliefs and perspective. It's just you suck.
But also, in that thin lane of her perspective is nothing but white-hot rage. And that car was in front of it, so she smacked it. But that's what was weird about her not turning. It's just nothing but hatred in her vision.
Yeah.
And then and that is just such a great embodiment of the people that live in Newtown. It's this is a suburb of tolerance. Got it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. As long as it doesn't even slightly step over my tolerance, it's a little kid. I don't give a fuck.
yeah.
But you know,
That kid's probably a homophobe.
which she was right about.
Probably. Kids usually are.
It's just insane. Anyway, yeah, that was a classic day.
Crazy. You know, a lot of times these people that act in behaviors like this, they'll do passive aggressive stuff like that. Just not slap your car, not even look back.
Believe me, I would.
Or they're in their cars and they're slightly annoyed because you're going slow and they'll speed off like a maniac.
Like,
If you ever confront them, like if you take your car,
I always do. Always.
they're scared
Yeah,
immediately.
yeah, I always do it.
All of these people that somehow have this insane courage to like almost put your life in danger and other people's life in danger just to make a point that they're pissed off are really scared people when you actually confront them.
Yeah.
Well, I don't confront them. I try to block them actually. So if I have a car that's like tailing me because they think that I'm going too slow, and then they aggressively change lanes to overtake me, I start speeding up.
And do you tail them?
No. I speed up so that I can, so that I'm faster than they are, so they can't overtake me. And then when they have to do that thing of like, damn it, now I have to go back behind. I'm just like, yes.
Dude, that's fucking hilarious.
Pretty dominant.
Yeah, pretty dominant.
So I'm just like there
That's
going
so
at like, I don't
good.
know, whatever average, the right speed, right? And then
Yeah.
I see them just like going over,
Dude.
gritting their teeth. I'm like, nope.
Dude, face
That's a very
calm.
third world move. Yeah, it really is.
That's fucking boss. That's fucking mad.
Too fast, too furious.
Shout out that name. What's the name?
Go Chip Phoenix. Woo!
Shout out. That's
Chip Phoenix?
Chip Phoenix.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm very proud of you.
That
was very
is
good.
one of the better two puns I've heard. And trust me, I've heard a lot of bad two puns in my life.
I bet you
You've
have.
heard the same one over and over again
Yeah.
because your friends are unoriginal.
What is it? Like, let's
Can
go.
you not
there
say
too.
that about my friends on like
Live?
live podcast, please?
No, some of your friends, but there's a group of your friends that I hate. And I
Do
think
you
that they're
listen to
very
this
apparent of who
podcast?
they are.
No, but things have a funny way of getting back to people.
Okay.
Well, it should have gotten back to them by now.
I say it to their face.
No, he doesn't say it to their face because he's non-existent.
Oh.
Yeah, that's
Not
right. Yeah, that's what
present.
every time I'm...
Dude, I feel
I'm
like this is
caught
going to
up
be a
in
therapy
work.
session pretty soon, a counseling session.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Well, you know.
What, between us?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But you know what
There are
it'd be?
a lot
It'd be
of,
the Homer thing of me just being like, I don't know, sometimes he nags me sometimes. And then we'd be here for 10 hours and it's like, and when he's sleeping, he makes honking noises.
He does.
Honking?
Not honky, but sometimes he does.
She meant honky noises.
Oh my god.
Honking. You know,
Does
apparently
snore
the other
sometimes.
day, I was, it's just one of my problems, but the other day I was asleep in Two's bed and I started snoring and then started moving around in my bed, making a little doggy paddle and making that whimpering sound of a dog having a bad dream, being like,
Man, you are just a dog. That's why you like the kennel so much.
You're a dog cunt.
I feel safe in there. It's a small cave.
I sleep talk, so I get those vibes. You know, yeah. Is it annoying?
But what are you
I remember
talking
when,
about?
It
like-
was
Safe
just,
talk?
it was kind of cute,
There you
like
go.
in a doggy way.
What do you guys talk about when you sleep talk?
I don't know. It's rubbish.
Well, you wouldn't
Rubbish.
know though,
Yeah.
right? Unless someone.
It's usually gibberish.
Gibberish. Like
Sometimes they'll say one word which makes sense, but it's completely out of context. You can't actually have a conversation because it's like they're speaking a different language and they know like 10% English.
It's actually really
Yeah, a
scary
racket.
to listen to.
Yeah, it is.
I
like-
get kind
yeah.
of freaked out.
You know, once I was sleeping at our friend's house, the party man, in high school, and apparently I was sleeping over, and apparently I, as I was sleeping on one side, and in my sleep I turned over and I was like this. I was like, and apparently he was like, dude, and I was just like, asleep. How weird is that?
I thought he gave you the pokey.
Hey,
I thought he might have given you the pokey.
what the fuck's the pokey?
Well,
So
like,
it was a
sure.
skull laughing laugh.
Well, oh, don't worry.
Okay.
How fucking funny is that? Just like literally like.
Do you remember what you were dreaming about?
No idea. Yeah, I have.
I
Some
wonder
weird
if
ones.
people that are talking are even dreaming.
Yeah, of course they're fucking.
they would be.
They would be.
Yeah.
REM, bruh.
Yeah.
Because to have a dream, your sleep needs to be kind of light. If you're in a deep sleep, you're not dreaming.
REM dreaming, really?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Because I've heard people that are snoring are not dreaming whilst they're snoring.
Okay.
So you never dream.
I never dream. And I
you serious?
remember I gave him an ear
Doesn't
infection
Ali
because of
look
my
like a man
snoring.
that never
right.
dreams.
Yeah. you do.
Oh, I don't dream. I
Are
very
you
rarely
serious?
dream.
Or
That's
do you
crazy.
just not remember your dreams?
Well, sometimes I dream, but it'll be like 3% of my
doesn't-
sleep.
All right, well, give me this. What was your last dream?
Dude, I
I bet
remember.
it was just you walking into your living room and your brother saying, "Hey man, you want to play FIFA?"
well, I
I
don't.
don't think so, man.
I don't remember that, but the one that
You
I
woke up and you're like, ah!
the one I remember is having at your house while I was sleeping in your dad's bed and had dreamt that I'd killed him.
Oh yeah.
That room is a very dreamy room. I've had some crazy dreams.
I
in
have
that room.
dreams at your house actually very often. Your
That's
Bondi
quite-
house.
That's quite a common thing. New surroundings.
Yeah, I think that might be it. But yeah, I dreamt that I killed your dad, and I was gonna go to jail for it, and I was trying to convince you to side with me, even though I killed your dad, and not turn me in.
Yes.
And I woke up thinking I'm going to jail.
I always
I
have
was so
those.
freaked out.
I hate
Your heart
those
was
dreams.
beating.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always have those dreams. Not his
Killing
dad.
someone and trying to get rid of the body.
Yeah, just killing someone and being like, oh no, prison. And then I wake up and it takes me like a few minutes. I'm like, I'm free. I can do whatever I want. And then like turn over, I'm like, Instagram.
Oh.
Ugh, that filter looks terrible.
All right, fellas, I've got some bad news. I'm going to do an international politics segment because I've seen a few chats.
So why is that? This is not related to that, but I am going to take a piss.
Of course you're going to take a piss. Wait till he goes for his shit soon.
Yeah.
And two's the only
So hurry up
polite.
in there, miss.
Well, you
Two will
should
be
know
the only
this.
one there.
I'm just pissing, I'll be back.
It's in your neighborhood.
Croatia.
Croatia.
No, don't start looking at your phone when you're in there.
I haven't got my phone on me.
Well,
All
Kazakhstan.
right. No, you're keeping it there.
Sorry, Dad.
Make sure you hurry up.
That
in
was
there. I need
not
to go as
passive
well.
aggressive at all.
Fuck off. Are you serious?
I'm
Hey,
timing
you
this.
listen to me. Kazakhstan is important. It's very close to
Oh, it's about
Turkmenistan.
Kazakhstan, not bad.
Kazakhstan.
Hey, if it's one of the stands, I'm in.
Well, there was these insane protests. So Kazakhstan is mostly Kazakh and a minority Russian population. And recently,
Yeah, but what is Kazakh? It's just, come on, just call them what they are. Koreans.
Muslim.
Muslim Koreans.
Yeah.
That's what they look like.
But a lot of them live in the.
Koreans that are tradies, because they always have worse skin.
Oh, yeah.
Wait, they
That's,
look like Koreans?
yeah, they're Asian looking.
Oh.
Well, not all of them.
What are the surrounding?
Mongolia.
Kazakh.
They're basically
Turkmenistan.
Turkmenistan. They're like a combination of what your kids are going to be.
They are.
Croatian and Vietnamese.
Because it was
Yeah.
just along the Silk Road.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Stopped there for a bit. It was so long away that you just thought, oh, I'll just start a family here. You gave up.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah, like a combination of
you know
Asian
what they are?
and
They're Eurasians.
yeah, they're Eurasians. Well, they're
They
called
are
Eurasians.
Yes, they are Eurasians.
So,
They're really hot.
Yeah, they can be really hot.
so why do
Yeah.
they have a small Russian?
Because like everything is sort of mixed over there. They've been dominated by Russia since centuries, and
Right.
there's usually the Russians were the nobility at one point. But anyways, which they still are in a way. But recently there was a whole spat of protest. They took over it was like the January 6th protest in the US, and they took over a lot of public institutions in Kazakhstan to a point where the Kazakhstani government thought that they were going to collapse. So they requested help from Russia. and Russia sent their troops on the ground. But basically, it all started from a price hike of petrol. In a nutshell, you're going to see a lot of these. It's because of COVID. Like the contracting economies of a lot of these countries is it sort of brings forward the worst elements that want to bring down the governments and stuff. But this is also linked to the Russian and American. You guys I don't know if you realize this, but we're very close to a NATO versus Russia war because of Ukraine.
Wait, what I miss? Borat's making a new movie or something? What are you on?
Yeah, it's called Coming to Russia.
So wait,
So
what?
Ukraine, there's a whole bunch of stuff happening. It's all interconnected in geopolitics. But what's happening is that Ukraine is becoming a center point for American or NATO versus Russian. They're currently negotiating an agreement, but ever since Russia took over Crimea, they are positioning themselves to take over Ukraine. At least that's what the Americans say.
Is the Ukraine thing? Do you feel like the Ukraine thing's kind of like the Taiwan thing? It's like, just let them have it.
Well, the Ukraine is let who have it? The Americans or the Russians?
Russia, just give it to them.
Just give it to them.
Okay, from the Russian perspective, Ukraine has always been part of Russia. And from their perspective, if you keep nukes on the border of Ukraine,
You agree.
then it's from their perspective, they voice this as well. This is equivalent to us keeping nukes in Cuba. And remember when that happened, you almost like blew the world. So this is from Russian perspective, this is the same. From American perspective, Russia is gearing to take over Ukraine, and this is a deterrent that will keep them at bay, just like they did with
I'm
Crimea.
asking about your perspective.
Well, my perspective is somewhat similar to the Russian perspective.
Yeah.
Surprisingly. And it's not just my perspective, it's also Chomsky's perspective.
No, it's
He's
mine.
always bringing it up as like, you guys need to concentrate on this. U.S. is doing army maneuvers around Ukraine that could seriously threaten the stability of the region. And now Russia is doing the same thing. So they're moving their troops towards the border of Ukraine. So we're like,
have it. Let him have it. Let him have it.
Thank God for Putin.
shut the.
I really feel like he actually is a capable statesman. I think he's one of the least insane ones.
Well, he's corrupt as fuck.
Well, look, okay.
Yeah, but he knows what's up when it comes to geopolitics.
Sure.
He said the same thing about Crimea and eventually took it over. That's what the Americans would say to you, and I don't think they'd be wrong about it.
I mean,
He also said like Ukraine, he's never going to take over Crimea, and then one day the army marched on and just took it.
can't Ukraine just be like New Zealand to Australia? Like they get to have their own customs and whatnot, but
Well,
At the end of the day, no one can tell the
one of the big demands that Russia has for Ukraine is that, for America actually, is that you stop the membership of NATO. So NATO is the alliance which is basically to counter Russia. And Ukraine is not a member of NATO, but there are always threats to Russia that we're going to join NATO. Which means, by joining NATO, it means that if you attack the country that is a NATO member, then the entire NATO military apparatus is going to go to war with you. So if you attack, let's say, Turkey, which is a NATO member, then America and all the NATO members are compelled to go to war on your behalf.
What's the difference between NATO and the UN?
So NATO is a military group that is there to defend, whereas
Defend what?
country. So if it's to avoid, let's say, World War II, something like World War
That's
II.
the UN.
Yeah, well, UN has the
it's like
same purpose.
negotiations.
But UN is a forum where all the countries, irrespective. So NATO has, like, for example, Australia can't be part of. I suppose Australia could be.
It's a region, right?
Yeah, it's a regional and military power.
And is it just
whereas UN is a political.
And is it just a proxy for America or not?
Well, that's what the Russians are. Not a proxy. It is a straight up American led force.
So it's dissipate NATO. Fuck it.
But either way, and part of that has to.
Too radical?
What?
Dissolve NATO.
No, well,
I think so.
That's the Russians would love that, but they're not even asking to dissolve NATO. They're just saying you can't get Ukraine part of NATO because Ukraine is ours essentially. Or they're saying if it's not ours, then it has to be neutral. Otherwise, we're gonna have to take over.
I mean, it's just Yes, I understand.
But
that
connected,
is-
the reason why I bring this up is because Kazakhstan is related to this. Kazakhstan is a Russian-dominated country, and these protests are being touted as American or Western influence, which is unproven, but the Russians are saying that these protests were backed by Western powers.
So such a bum of this shit. Geopolitics bums
But
me
what I-
out.
Don't you think it's this specific geopolitics? Because you just think of being really cold,
Nah,
really
China
cheap
as well.
vodka, people being like, "It's a crocodile, it's not that bad. Oh,
It's
actually, it's pretty bad."
It's fucked, dude.
It
And
is-
China too. It's just like,
Like,
It's-
guys, come on. How glad are we all
To
that
be
we
honest.
don't live in Eastern Europe that's that east?
Well, I am happy about that, but we live fucking close to China.
yeah. That's what I
And
mean.
we keep
Same shit.
poking that bear too, you know.
The way it's going, what with the COVID and all, we're due for a war. Let's finish this. Let's finish this up, shall we?
Well, yeah, that's the other.
Sort it out man to man. Biden v. Putin, duking it out.
UFC.
You know what's really sad? I bet you that would pull in less money than Jake Paul.
Yeah, much.
Actually, this is one of the
Much less.
to make it slightly less Russian propaganda. This isn't RT. Part of the reason why Kazakhstan is suffering economically, which is leading to the protest, is their unwanted over-reliance on Russia. Because with COVID, when all the factories and everything kind of shut down, there was a huge drop in demand for oil and gas because the factories weren't running, so there wasn't that much of demand, which is really shit for countries like Kazakhstan or Turkmenistan because their oil reserves or gas reserves are secondary sources. They can only go through Russia. And when the oil demand is really low, Russia just sells their own shit, and all the TAN countries never get a chance to sell their fossil fuels.
You think you'd have some massive fund, right? If you were a petro state, wouldn't you just have a huge amount of money in a bank account that gets 3% interest like it's part of St. George?
But they're not even a petro state. Unfortunately, they're a petro proxy of Russia, which makes it difficult.
What does that
proxy state.
It just means that a country like, let's
Nancy
say,
Pelosi
Saudi Arabia,
state.
which has huge amounts of oil reserves, also has access to the ocean. So they can sell their oil to whoever they want, however they want it.
So they have control over their supply.
Yeah, they have good control over their supply. When they say that to Italy, let's say Italy wants some oil reserves, when they say that we're going to give you this oil at this price, they are able to do it because they have the
Tankers.
ability to send shipping around. With landlocked countries and all these TANs, they're super reliant on Russia because they don't have access to supply their oil. So it has to go
okay.
through Russia,
Yeah.
which means that they're always kind of going to be a Russia proxy, which is their fate. It's been like this since forever.
Well,
So,
here's the big question. Why aren't they just part of Russia?
well, they used to be part of Russia during
Yeah,
the Soviet
but-
Union.
Like, just... You are, you know?
Yeah, well-
it's even more like that with New Zealand. I honestly think that with New Zealand as well. It's just like, come on, come back.
Might as well.
Might as well. And it's just the same thing with the Russian states. It's like, you can be a state in there, but you are a state now.
Exactly.
And that's it from Vladimir Shanks for tonight. Just admit you are Russia.
I'm always
I'm
sitting
on
there
board
being
as well.
like,
I'm on-
it's easy for everybody.
I'm on board as well. Too much Putin bashing.
But that's the Russian perspective.
Nice Slavic head. That's enough. Don't make me whip your ass, Ali.
There is so much hatred for Kiwis. Everyone's like, yeah, screw Kiwis.
What do you mean?
Because you brought up New Zealand.
Hey, too, what's your opinion on Kiwis?
Oh, stop asking me to like.
Cancel too. She's
you
gonna
stop
ruin her
putting-
career.
No. Okay, I love them.
Have you ever met one in your life?
Yeah, I did. I did law with a Kiwi, and he was
Nice.
he was really funny. Okay, he was
Because of
funny
the
and
way he
was-
spoke or just generally?
No, just
sounded-
It was
because-
Murray from Flight of the Conchords. I'll be honest, my career didn't go the way I thought it would.
Okay, this is going to be a very controversial point. I love Kiwis, but can we admit Taika Waititi kind of overrated?
Who the fuck is that?
Is that the UFC dude?
No, he's a director.
He's a director. He directed. I haven't seen Jojo Rabbit. Apparently, that's great, and maybe I'll change my opinion. But I saw his movie, his first one, which he got famous for, where he's a married dad and he has kids. Anyways, that's the one that he got famous by, which everyone says is amazing. And I thought it was good, but it wasn't that great. And I saw Thor. I actually saw it last night. Thor Ragnarok, which is supposed to be the best superhero movie ever made.
Yeah, right.
Wait, was that the one with Kate Blanchett?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait a second. So this guy was making all of those New Zealand films that always have some name like Boy.
That's the one.
Yeah.
That's the one I'm
What
talking
was it
about.
called?
Yeah.
And what, now he's directing action films?
Well, he's a good director. I don't want to say that. He's a very good director who's directed some good movies, but I feel like he's kind of overrated.
Don't you think
I don't know
that
anything about
if you took a Red 4 camera to any tiny town in Australia or New Zealand that's mostly made of fibro, the movie that you got would just be like, Sundance Film Festival gives it 4 out of 5 stars. Doesn't matter what you film. You go there and you film the mailman just kind of looking sus as he's just like taking all of the stuff out. And, you know, you just put that there, really simple guitar in the background, and then you just call it Mail. You'll get an award.
Well, I'm already getting.
Let's do it. Let's take 2 out there with a really good camera.
I'm already
and
getting,
then just
like-
get her just putting a
My
letter into
girlfriend.
the post box, and that's it. We'll just film that,
And
and
then-
then tomorrow
We could
tomorrow
be
she'll
rich.
be
You
yeah.
could be rich tomorrow, and you could be famous, and just have some overdub in like. No, not even an overdub.
Speak into the fucking microphone.
Not even an overdub, but just have like the mailman with like, you know, it's always easy when there's like a young, a youthful character, and it's kind of like the, you know, I've got the whole story in my head. He delivers mail, and he's sad because his wife's died. Then he meets a young boy who's very naughty.
Yeah,
and he
not a girl,
and he
doesn't meet a girl.
And he teaches him how to be not naughty and the value of self-respect. And then then they both learn lots together, and it wins Sundance Film Festival.
Yeah. It's up, but not interesting. And I think that you should play the
boy.
old mailman. No, we'll put a little Monopoly Man moustache
Can you
on
play
it.
the old mail?
Well, it's
The
like
old man on
my
the-
favourite
the-
thing. The favourite thing that
Can I
we
be
ever
the
did.
boy?
You can be the boy. Ali can be the part of that Maori bikie gang that's always in there, and he'll just walk in being like, "I told you not to deliver mail on Tuesdays, cuz." And then you just sit there and just be like, "It's my job. I've got to do it. My job is to make mail."
We could be rich too.
Yeah.
Rich and famous.
And next year I'll be directing Ant-Man.
Dude, just you have no idea how unpopular this is going to be.
Why?
He is a darling of all cinema goers alike because he brings in. I don't want to get into that, but you can imagine why he.
And
would
I'm just
be really
sick
big.
of New Zealand film getting held up on a pedestal because they figured out what Australia won't, which is instead of making every film, you should be ashamed of yourself. There should be a bunch of films about losers in small
I don't
towns.
think that's what New Zealand films are like.
What?
Are you saying that's what they're like?
No, Australian ones,
Oh, right,
every
right.
single one of them is just like, this summer, just a reminder of what an awful human being you are. Oh, I'd lost money again. What the hell? You know? And then every New Zealand film is always like, I say crisps instead of chips. What do you say, crisps? It's what we say up here in Tutuwanga. Well, down in Tutuwumba, we say chips.
All right,
Watch that.
moving on. I don't
Me
know
too,
why
I want to see
bring
that
this up.
film.
I don't know what this
Dude, come on, do
What?
it. No, look, you know what we should do? Because
What?
this was my favourite thing to do on TikTok, was to get her to
Yes.
reenact
Oh my god, that's right.
films
So good.
that she was terribly cast for. So making her the Spanish guy in
Zorro.
Blade Runner.
Right,
Oh yeah,
yeah,
Zorro,
yeah,
that'd
yeah.
be great.
No,
But the Blade guy, like just her turning around and going, it's too bad she won't live.
Then again, who does?
She's a natural. She's
Can we-
a natural.
Can we do U.S. Samuel Jackson in Pulp Fiction?
Yeah.
This
Do you
one.
know any of
Just
it?
go, say what? Say what one more time, motherfucker, I dare you. Go.
Do you know that?
I think I do.
Yeah,
Okay,
Say
so
that,
do you
I
know
say
this
that.
part? Can you do the whole
Hold on.
scene of, does he look like a bitch? Whoa. Does he look like a bitch? Can you do from there or no?
No, I'm terrible at remembering like lines and stuff from movies that I've seen.
All right, if I just go, whoa, as the lead in, can you do that? Say what again? Say what again, motherfucker?
I dare you.
Alright.
Can you?
Okay.
Okay. Ready?
Can we zoom in on this? Not really.
Not really, but
Okay, I'm just gonna say.
Whoa.
Say what? Say what again, motherfucker?
damn.
No, you.
I
Oh my
dare-
god.
Oh, she doesn't know the ones after
I'm
that.
gonna go. I dare you. I double dare you.
Okay.
Say what? One more goddamn
Is this
time.
the one where he has the gun on
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
Is that the scene?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so that was good. Can we just raise the energy a little this time?
Take one. Take one. Take two. Sorry. Mark it.
Whoa.
Say what? Say what again, motherfucker? What is
more
it?
time, one more time, one more
Whoa, one more time.
I dare you. I double dare you.
I dare you.
The fuck are you in a Netflix
Pretty
show?
good.
I dare.
That sucked.
That was
No, that was so bad. I just don't know this. I don't know.
yeah.
the
Well, she
scene
doesn't know the
You
scene.
went- you still-
Well,
you still went for
you
it.
Jordan, you would know
For it.
what's one intense scene that she would know of. Let's do that.
Something else.
No, but a lot of this.
What's your favorite movie? Do you have a favorite
What's an
movie?
action film that you've seen that's quite famous?
Die Hard.
Because this is the case.
What?
You need to get her to play characters like,
Can you be?
you know, the
Arnie or
old guy
something.
in Blade. That was the best one that we ever did. The one, you know, that scene where the vampire just chucks steaks in Blade, going like, you know, I owe you one, Blade. Fact, I owe you two. What the hell's so funny? I'm expecting company. And then she rocks up, she kicks down the door, holds up a cane and says, hope I didn't catch you fuckers at a bad time. And that's her sound for a machine gun.
So good.
I think it's the greatest TikTok ever made.
Oh god,
seen
I'm
it,
just
so good.
really bad
It's
at
brilliant.
impressions. I'm sorry, guys.
Well, what about okay? Someone suggested it. Marilyn, he said, "What about how about you can't handle the truth scene
Oh,
from a
come
few
on.
Goodman."
That's a good one. I don't know.
That's the one. That's the one where he's. Oh, that's
Yeah.
Tom Cruise.
Yeah, I want the
right?
truth. You get. But isn't that it? He just
But
says
That's
This is
just it,
Yeah.
not it?
Okay, do it
Wait,
as
is
in.
this Jack?
but
Was
two,
it Jack
do,
Nicholson
Yeah.
or
Yeah,
was
yeah.
it?
Jack Nicholson.
two, do it as intensely as you can. Do it with full seriousness.
Okay.
Like you're Jack Nicholson.
You say I want the
Okay.
truth.
All right, I'll do it as well. Because Tom was like worked up in that as well.
Okay, so wait, how does it start? It's
Hey,
like-
just the line is, "You can't handle the truth."
No. Yeah. He goes.
And
like,
he goes, "I want the truth," and you say you can't handle the truth. But he's full of intensity because he's in a courtroom and he's grilling you, and you are like a military general that's seen so much shit that thinks
he's a
that this guy
director.
can't handle the truth.
You're a director.
Okay.
It's good.
Ready?
Yeah.
I want the truth!
You can't handle the truth.
Damn! Cut scene.
That was really good.
Powerhouse performance.
That was really good.
Our poker table is really flimsy, guys.
Oh my god, I'm sorry.
No, I loved it.
That wasn't bad.
Perfect. Maybe we should make this.
Hey,
a
can you
recurring
do this scene where Jack Nicholson says something along the lines of, I eat breakfast 400 meters away from a bunch of Cubans trained to kill me, so don't come down here and think that you can make me nervous.
No, I can't do it as good as Jordan.
That was really
Try it. Just give us your Jack. Don't do Jack, do his character. So you are a 5-star military general with the intensity.
I eat breakfast 500 miles away from a bunch of Cubans, so don't you think that you can come down here and scare me?
I like the intensity. That was not the line.
Whatever, I
The
don't
line
know.
became really tame, but it's good. It's good. It's really.
What was the line?
Your acting skills are on point.
Your
What did I say? Did I say 500 miles?
Yeah, 500 miles away from Cubans. So what
And you
you're
just
made-
said Cubans, like as if
Sorry, what?
Cubans trained to kill, not
Oh,
just Cubans, because otherwise it's just an
Yeah,
ethnicity.
500 miles away from Cubans. Wow, Jesus, you're really living it tough there up in Canada. Yeah.
They've got a strange culture up there.
Yeah. So true.
No, I honestly do have the
I've
worst memory
heard
for just
he
like scenes.
celebrates saints I've never heard of.
Oh, and my favorite scene. Does anyone know in Heat where
watched
Robert
that
De Niro
recently.
and Al Pacino are talking at that restaurant?
She's got a huge ass.
Well, and he's like,
No, the restaurant. What is it?
yeah, where it's like,
I hope you kill me first.
There's like-
Something like that.
yeah, so you were never that barbecue kind of guy. Which barbecue? Ball games and something. Do you know, it's
a
one of
great
the
movie.
best scenes
It's a great
ever.
movie.
It's like a lesson in acting.
They're trying to kill me. So good. Pacino.
All right, guys, we are out of time. Does anyone want to go ahead
Shout
and?
out.
I wanted to keep doing...
All right, we can do that. We can do that.
whatever. All right, what's this?
Just a shout out.
A letter from Mislav.
To me. It's to me. It's to us.
So I've got to read this out.
Yeah.
This is addressed to Mislav. Mislav can't be bothered reading a paragraph, so he gave it to me. Dear Mislav, here's the shit. Thank you for mailing that. And CDs I promised you. Hope you're doing fantastic and hope to have you out here one day. Send my love to Ali and Jimmy. Much love, Colin Neil Webb.
You.
Well, if Colin Neil Webb isn't one of Kenny Rogers' illegitimate sons, I don't know who he is.
Thanks for the shirt. Thanks for the shirt. It's sick, guys.
Look at his album. It's called
Shout out,
Smokestack Relics.
Shout out from Colorado Springs, I assume. So,
Thanks
shout
for
out.
joining us tonight. Just become a patron to access the Up Late podcast,
If you want the part that's a little blue.
where we keep the
And can
festivities going.
somebody, I'm not joking about this, I want a large poster of Tony Robbins' personal power too.
We still haven't done that.
Why hasn't this appeared yet? Everything else that we've asked for that's ridiculous
And
has
before
just been here the next week.
I receive all the messages about how do we send it to P.O. Box 14230 Stockton Avenue, Moorbank, postcode 2170.
And also,
Fuck
can
yeah.
somebody just freeze frame 2 and then blow her up to A3 with the words at the bottom, you can't handle the truth.
I would love that. Finally, a real motivator in the office.
Thanks for joining us. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.